Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm playing Earthborne Rangers, the campaign. This is part 6 of the series. I'm on day 7, and there's a link in the description to the playlist where you can catch up from day 1 if you're interested, but you're welcome to join me either way. I'm currently embarking on a mission to set up a sensor network. So this is my campaign log. I have the sensor network and Watcher in the Bush missions are on day 7 here. The starting weather is going to be a downpour. So this says I need to get to the Plummet, High Basin, and Mound of the Navigator. Pull out the valley map again. I am currently at the Philosopher's Garden. So it looks like I'm on my way to High Basin right now. So Philosopher's Garden to the branch and then to High Basin. It's probably going to be currently the plan, and set up a sensor. And otherwise, the Watcher in the Bush says I felt a lurking presence following me since the discovery of the biomeld corpses after the rising waters, floods. Generally stays out of sight, so you're going to have to confront it to figure out what it wants. And so I've shuffled the Mysterious Verdescent into the path deck. We'll see if that comes out, and maybe I can clear that with progress. But otherwise, that's where we're at. Just going to try to leave here and go to branch and then High Basin. So let's see what the location here says. Philosopher's Garden has 1 presence, 4 progress to clear it. During the refresh step, I need to flip a path card face down, but it keeps attachments. Interesting. Face down cards are features with the obstacle keyword and a presence of 1 with the following test of awareness plus reason to identify the true nature of the manifestation before you, and then flip it face up. Well, now I'm curious what is going on here. So I might have to explore this place a little bit. Get my opening hand before we actually do the full setup. 6 cards, plus I can do a mulligan. Well, I wonder if the Mysterious Verdescent is a being. I could just use Seen Through Cycles to just pull them out. But I think I'm going to keep Now's Understanding, Static Sifter, Ranger Badge, but not keep the Vaulting Rod or Familiar Ground. Seen Through Cycles. No, I'm not in a rush to find this Watcher. Let's just see what comes out. I'm going to mulligan away Seen Through Cycles as well. Although then I don't have any manifestations, but I think I like some of my other ones more. So we're going to set those aside. Draw 3 new cards, which are Carbon Forged Trowel, Bold, and another Carbon Forged Trowel. And then shuffle. All right, well, I like that I have my full gear set up. So that'll be a nice way to start the day, assuming there's actually like flora to tend to and benefit from. Okay, and then let's see what is on the other side for our setup of the Philosopher's Garden. It says I need to read entry 17. Lead Ranger is going to draw a path card. It comes down face down along the way. All right, so that's going to be one of our weird Philosopher manifestations. And then the next Ranger would do something, but I'm the only Ranger. So awareness plus reason to identify it, to turn it face up. All right. And then 17 says, no one has ever been able to tell you how this patch of woodland got its name. You can't help but feel a shiver run down your spine as you travel through it, however. Although the grass is just as green, the same bird song echoes through the branches, and the usual insects buzz in your ears, you can't help but notice all the trees grow in strange and precise geometric patterns. It sounds like a place my character would be very interested in. I might have to just kind of buckle down and check this place out. My next triggered event is going to be on day 10, start of day 10. So I've got until day 7, 8, and 9 to worry about these sensors. I don't know if that day 10 event's going to interrupt my sensor thing, but if I have any deadline, that would be it. If I don't have a deadline, well, then I don't know. Okay, well, I just went to reset my camera, or like stop the video and then start it again, because I've been recording for an hour and 12 minutes, and I like to reset this particular camera every hour. But I found out that it only recorded 6 minutes, so that means you've missed 66 minutes worth of me playing. Of course, editing time, all that would be shorter. But I probably just recap what happened. I was hanging out in the Philosopher's Garden for a while. Some bees came out, but the Philosopher's Garden ability flipped them face down. Again, I don't know where that we cut off, but the bees being an obstacle face down, I kind of kept them face down for a while because if I flipped them back up, they'd be collecting those counters to get the bees bigger, and then more cards were coming out, and I was having to clear them every round, do as much as I could to clear them, because the Philosopher's Garden was gonna, if I didn't clear them, they'd turn face down into another obstacle, which I'd then have to spend more awareness to identify and flip face up again in order to actually deal with. So that went on for several rounds. The Mysterious Verdescent actually did come out. So this is the Mysterious Verdescent, actually came out in the first round. I mistakenly didn't draw enough path cards, but then I corrected it later and was able to clear it in basically one shot using Now's Understanding. It's just one spirit to add 5 progress, and it clears with 5. So I cleared the Mysterious Verdesian, and we can go ahead and read those entries just so you don't miss any of the important story. Because yeah, I spent several rounds just kind of lingering and trying to deal with the face down and face up encounter cards at the Philosopher's Garden. There are obstacles. I was having trouble getting rid of them. I really need to draw ways to deal damage. I finally got Quiet, who can deal 3 damage. So she came out after I'd been waiting for a while and was able to damage the bees that I otherwise would have had trouble damaging. So Quiet came out at a good time. So, or rather, eventually she came out and I was able to progress through the Philosopher's Garden. I was kind of waiting longer than I should have in the garden because I thought the description was pretty cool and I wanted to find some cool Philosopher's Garden lore or something. And then I remembered there are no Philosopher's Garden path cards. There's only the Wild Growth, or the Old Growth rather, path deck, and then the 3 random Valley cards that were shuffled in. So there's no Philosopher's Garden lore to be found. So I moved on, and we're now at Branch. We'll cover Branch in a little bit, but I'll catch you up on the Mysterious Verdesian. So we read entry 90. It says, the trail leads over a small rise, and you find yourself looking down into a clearing. In the center, maybe 50 meters away, you can see a reclaimer. Strangely, it's standing perfectly still. Then you see something moving alongside it. What you thought was a large flowering weed appears to be some sort of being. As you watch, it runs an appendage lightly along the reclaimer's back, and you see small white flowers sprout from its spine. You take a single step, and even that slight movement causes the being's head to turn in your direction. You're going to have to approach very cautiously if you don't want to scare it off. Clear the Verdesian with progress to silently observe its behavior. So I did that. I cleared it, and then I got to with Now's Understanding, and it says you stay far enough away not to alert the being and decide to follow it as it leaves the reclaimer and disperses into the underbrush. As you follow, you notice strange plants along the trail. The tiny twisting vines don't appear to be native to the valley, but look similar to plants you heard of in the Verdessa. Perhaps that's where this being is from. But in any case, perhaps you can follow the trail left by these vines. Complete the Watcher in the Brush mission, gain the Trail of Vines mission. So now I have this Trail of Vines mission, which says you might be able to track the Mysterious Verdesian through its effects on the local flora. When a flora comes into play, place a vine on it. When a card with a vine on it is cleared, mark those here. And when I have 2 on it, I read 1.11. So I did clear 2 flora while I was in the Philosopher's Garden, and I was able to read this entry. 1.11. Discard all vine counters off Trail of Vines. Check a bubble next to Trail of Vines in the campaign tracker. If Spirit Speaker Now is in play, but she wasn't, read the entry corresponding to your progress on Trail of Vines. The trail leads deep into the wilderness, far away from any habitation in the valley. Soon it starts to parallel a set of reclaimer tracks. Interesting. Why is the Verdesian following the reclaimers? So I need 2 bubbles in order to read the next entry. Don't have that yet, but I do have, I marked one of the bubbles next to this Trail of Vines mission, and I have now traveled from the Philosopher's Garden down through more Old Growth into Branch. So I've just arrived there. My goal again was to reach the high basin over here. So Trail of Vines is out. I still have the sensor network. Can't do anything there until I get to high basin. Mysterious Verdesian is back in the box for now. And the encounter card I drew for Branch, or actually its setup information was to, well, I think we just need to read Branch, don't we? So this is my new location, Branch. I just read it, but yeah, I think that was just before I realized the camera was not recording. So 1 threshold, or 1 presence for progress, awareness plus connection to search the treetop settlement to scout path cards equal to your effort, then draw a path card. I have Riri in play. She's got that same ability survey, but with reason icons instead. But if there's anybody in particular I want to search for, we can do that. And then the rival setup is the lead ranger draws the next feature card from the path deck, and I got the Evergreen Hall. So we'll see that in a second. Let's read entry 6 for the Branch. The town of Branch spreads out among the trunks and branches of the giant cedar trees and tough wrinkled knollwoods. The whole village is a maze of platforms and narrow walkways, all created from tree branches encouraged to grow together into dense mats punctuated by spherical homes. So that comes out. My first feature was the Evergreen Hall, which clears with 1 progress or 6 harm, although I don't think we need to do anything negative. It's got a 0 presence, so it's not messing with me. And I can use Spirit plus Connection to share stories with the locals to search the Valley set for any 1 card and attach it face down to the location. After you travel, put the attached card into play. So if there's somebody from the Valley you really want to meet, you can find them in Evergreen Hall, I guess. or arrange a meeting. And then we'll read entry 63. As you make your way across a long, narrow bridge suspended among the upper branches of the forest, the din of a crowd draws your eyes to a stout wooden hall ahead. Fir needles cover its exterior, crisscrossing to create a tapestry reaching up and around the dull wood's upper branches. Its ornate door swings open to reveal a meeting hall with different gathering platforms winding down the sides of the trunk. On every floor you see villagers drinking, reading, and talking of all the comings and goings of the valley. The scent of sweet ale washes over you. Near the entrance, a map of the valley hangs on a wall next to a board covered with handwritten messages and notices. So maybe you leave the note to arrange the meeting. And then I'm starting around here, so I need to draw a path card as normal for step 1 of the round structure. And we got a cloud hive. So this is something from the old growth I dealt with in the Lost Hour. Particularly scary, I managed to avoid it, is that sun icon. If there are no cloud hive swarms in play, search the path and discard for a cloud hive swarm. So those are the bees I was talking about. Though I imagine they'll be a little less scary. I've got quiet out, and I don't have to deal with the Philosopher's Garden ability to turn them face down into obstacles. After adding one or more harm, add a bee to each cloud hive swarm in play, but there are no swarms currently. All right, so that's going to be along the way next to the hall. And I really just need to travel. I could hang out, I could meet people. I spied a bit from the branch path deck. I saw there are a bunch of people here, shuffled into this old growth path deck, but if they came out, I'd be happy to meet them. This isn't an obstacle, so I could ignore it as long as I'm not afraid of bees coming out. I should also mention I only have 9 or 8. I'm down to 7 cards in my deck, so you missed a lot of the day, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I will spend my spirit to try to clear this. So I'm going to spend 3 spirit to do a basic connect test, connect X, presence of 1. So I need at least 1, but I want to get as high as possible to get up to 6. I do have 5 songs stored up on my scepter right now. So we'll do 3 looking at spirit. I got a 0, so 3 progress added, and I have to resolve the crest icon. No. This one, the new mission, Trail of Vines, says each ranger suffers fatigue equal to the number of vines. Vine tokens within reach, but there's no flora, and if they were, they're certainly not within reach. So that doesn't happen, so I get another song, and maybe that's a good enough reason to just use this ability to spend 3 songs to add 3 more progress. Although, it only adds it to a being. I think I might have made that mistake. Maybe not. I don't remember. But it's a deleted hour anyway. So just 3 progress for now. Awkward thing is this isn't a being, which means Riri can't harm it, although she's not in the right place anyway. Quiet can't harm it. My Sky Whip can't harm it. And even my Familiar Ground can't harm it. Because it's a prey, but it's not a being. It's a food, but it's not a flora. All right, well, let's, since I'm kind of stuck here until I can do another spirit test, I think I'm going to use Riri's survey ability. I'm going to spend spirit along with 2 reason icons there. Discard these 2 cards for their 2 symbols for Riri's spirit test. So I'm going to want to scout some path cards. 2, 3, 4 in green. -1 is 3. I think the crest we just realized is nothing, although technically I might need to resolve the test first before doing the challenge icon. That's how I've been playing it. So I got 3, so I get to look at 3 path cards, put them back on the top or bottom, and then draw 1. We got Cielo Gris, but Apiaris. I think I'll save him. I'm going to put this Cloud Hive Swarm if you want to see what was plaguing me for a bit. A simple card, it's just I couldn't do 1 harm. It had 1 counter on it, so it was just a simple harm threshold of 1 that I just could not do with the tools I had. This Carbon Forged Trowel, but it's not very good at harming. So I'm going to put the bees to the bottom. It's also the card that the Cloud Hive will search for if I hit the yellow test icon. I'm going to put Cielo back on top, and I'm going to draw Hanging Cherry Moss, which is a flora and a feature. With fitness plus reason, I can climb up to reach the sweetest of the insect luring fruit to add harm to this feature. Discard a token from an insect and soothe the fatigue. All right, and because of the Trail of Vines, it's going to have 1 vine token on it. So if I clear it, I will get another token. This is within reach of me though, and that is going to trigger the crest here, which says each ranger suffers fatigue equal to the number of vine tokens within reach, and now there is 1. So I'll take a fatigue for that, and that's why I resolved the challenge icons last. I mean, I don't know 100% that that's the way it's intended, but I did look back through the rulebook today to get a refresher on some of the things I was unclear on, and I'm still unclear on them. So there's that. But that's how I've been doing it. Well, my trowel can tend to flora, but it costs me spirit, which I just spent to connect. Well, that makes me realize I can't even connect with the Cloud Hive. Oh, I definitely did that wrong. So I guess I'm going to take my spirit back and remove that progress and I guess lose a song. Wait, I had 6 songs, right? Maybe I should just have 5 because I spent 3 to do that and then I couldn't do it. Is that right? Yeah, this connect says connect to a being. It's not a being. Well, how are you supposed to get rid of the Cloud Hive? I mean, I guess it's not an obstacle or anything, but okay. Well, that means I have my spirit to use on the moss. All right, so I'll just use my spirit for this instead. I mean, technically I already did the test. I'm just gonna keep the challenge card I already drew since it's an awkward rewind there. But they were both 0s on spirit, so I would keep my 3, and I only needed 2 because 10 lets me add or remove harm equal to the effort. I have 3. This clears with 2, so I will add 3 harm to it, clear it, and claim this vine. And when I add 1 or more harm to a flora, I get to trigger my static sifter, which gives it a victual, and then I can exhaust it and remove a victual to draw or soothe to fatigue. And then, I should have done this first. All right, I'm going to play Shape the Earth. I should have done this first. I'm going to spend 2 fitness, and I have to spend a song. So this is actually a manifestation, my first manifestation of this day. I add a progress to each feature, and location, so 3. And then I can redistribute it. And I guess I'm going to put it all here on the Cloud Hive. And then I'm going to end the round. So I will ready, energize, and draw. Draw a path card. Oh yeah, of course, I just put him there. Cielo Gris, apiarist. Friendly guy. Let's read 64. If you've discovered the philosopher's honey, come on. If you're at the philosopher's garden, no. A strange buzzing fills the air. A flash of yellow and black, and a bumblebee whizzes past. It's quickly followed by 3 others. You follow them around the base of the tree, only to find a man in a beekeeper's shroud, carefully examining a tray of honey. Where are you? I know you're hiding somewhere. He leans closer and laughs. Why, hello, your highness. The man finally notices you and gives you a theatrical bow. Welcome. Name is Cielo Gris, though I'm sure you knew that already. I suppose you're looking for some honey then. They always are. Best honey in the valley. He winks and swaggers toward you. Well, nothing's free in this world. You get your hands sticky and help me with this harvest? Then maybe I'll give you a taste. Clear Cielo with progress to help him with harvesting his honey. All right. Well, I do see myself doing that. Let's bring him out. I would like to find more vines, but maybe I'll just do this first. Just do a basic connect test if I can do it in one shot. I have a lot of cards in my hand. I'm going to spend quiet. I have a second copy of quiet for a connection. So I have 4. I can take a -1 and I got a -1. So that will add 3 progress to him, which will clear him. So I'll go read his entry again. What did I say? Delicious, isn't it? Cielo slides the empty tray into the last box, pauses for a moment, then leans in. Now, if you think that was good, let me tell you something. There's a tree grows just north of here, unlike anything I've ever seen before. Found it a few months back. Whole train of little buzzers lead me to it. I was hiding in a little nook in the philosopher's garden. His voice drops to a whisper. The flowers were almost chameleon-like, shift in colors with the rise and fall of the sun. I can't help but wonder what kind of honey those little buzzers are cooking up out there. If you want to make history with me, I'll let you tag along. Choose to agree to help, remove all progress, attach helping hand mission to him, or not today, soothe to fatigue. Well, helping hand, so I guess that means he wants to go to the garden where I just came from. I was in the garden for a while, in part because I wanted to see what was going on, and now this is a chance to learn a bit more about the garden. I'm just going to set back my sensor network plans, because I'm pretty sure I have to go now. Although if I go now, do I have time to do what I'm going to need to do? 5 cards left in my deck. Because yeah, helping hand is a temporary type of deal. If you don't finish it in the day you get it, you lose it. And that means I'm going to start day 8 right back where I started day 7, which is just at the philosopher's garden needing to travel. But I want to do it. Let's try it. All right, so we're going to do that. Attach helping hand to him to resolve the sun. So to add a vine token, move a vine from a flora to another flora. There's no flora. This says if there are no clouds, hive swarms in play, put one into play. It says put the next one into play. So technically the one I put at the bottom is not the correct one. I got to flip through the deck, put this into play. It's going to be within reach. It's going to have 1 token on it. 1 bees, which means its harm threshold is 1 and its presence is 1, which means Riri can easily take it out. I can exhaust her to add 1 harm to a being in the same area. And yeah, this is within reach. So just boop, pop the bees, clear those easily. way easier than last time I saw those bees. So that resolves that. Now I want to travel. I'm going to be traveling backward, and I could have added this 3 progress there, but I didn't. What I can do is use my roll card, Exhaust, to put a manifestation into my hand and get Shape the Earth back. So I can do that every round, but there are only 3 features and locations out, and I need 4. Oh, and I forgot about the downpour, which also gives me another fatigue, and then it becomes Gathering Storm. During the refresh step, it'll get 2 more rain. And when there's 4, it flips back over. I can take shelter to remove the rain, but kind of a lot of work, so we'll see. All right, I need to get out of here, so I'm going to have to traverse. I'm going to use the basic traverse test with fitness plus exploration. I'm going to commit 2. Yeah, the Shape the Earth would be nice, but it only would do 3. So I should be exhausted here. And it needs 4, so let's do 2. I got a lot of cards in my hand, a lot of exploration icons. I'm going to commit this Ranger badge I've been holding on to, but not really needing because I just didn't have the manifestations. It lets me reuse my roll, but I just didn't have the manifestations to return. Second copy of Riri. 2, 3, 4, 5. Need to get to 6 to be a guarantee. So let's do the second Carbon Forged Trowel. And I have a 6. Got a -1 is 5. That is going to be successfully adding 5 progress to the location. Resolve the mountain. Add a vine to every flora, but there are none. Ready each human, but there are none. If there's an active mammal, exhaust it. This is a mammal. Add progress to it and harm to this feature, both equal to the mammal's presence. So Quiet gets 3 progress on her. That doesn't do anything. And then Cloud Hive gets 3 harm, actually, which helps toward clearing it, but I'm not going to be clearing it because I'm just going to travel. I wonder if I had played Green Thumb, I could have searched for a flora that maybe would have also been a feature. Yeah, like I could have searched for another hanging cherry moss, assuming there's a second one in there. And that would have been a feature that I could have then had 4 features out, or 4 features and locations, and then Shape the Earth for 4. Put that all in branch. I would have done this out, but I wouldn't be able to clear it for its vine. So I don't know. I didn't do that though. So I think I'm just going to be wasting this 3 energy. I'm going to end the round. Ready everything and energize and draw. Got 3 cards left. I'm traveling. That happened first. So all these path cards got discarded. The location's gone. Gathering Storm is going to be getting 2 rain. I don't want to forget about that. I got 3 random cards from the Valley set because the Philosopher's Garden is not a pivotal location. Doesn't have its own cards. Bring out the Philosopher's Garden. Unfortunately, I don't know if when I read that it was cut off before in the Lost Hour, but I'm going to assume I did get that in the first 6 minutes, and you got to hear the entry for that and see how this works. But I do need to draw a path card face down along the way to set up, and then start the next round by drawing face up. And we got the Fundamentalist from the Valley set. So there you go. I'm also going to need to read... Oh, well, I guess I'm going to be reading a modified entry now anyway for 17, because now CeeLo Gris is with me. If CeeLo Gris is in play, go to 17.1. As you enter the edges of a strange patch of woodland, you pay close attention to the trees, looking for the one with the chameleon leaves. CeeLo is beside himself with excitement, running to and fro as he sniffs flowers, pokes at plants, and at one point, you're sure you see him petting a bee. Even as he wanders around, you start to notice the patterns that the trees grow in and how those patterns seem to be drawing you toward the highest point in the garden. Oh, that's kind of vague. What do I need to do? I need to know what I need to do. I don't have many cards left. I really hope I didn't waste my time. All right, we see the Fundamentalist again. He's friendly. He says reduce the presence of all other beings in the same area as him by 1. I cleared him before, and he basically just talked. I don't think he does anything. He just kind of hangs out and is useful. He reduces presence of beings by 1, although lowering Quiet's presence is not ideal. When I just realized her presence is 2, I added 3 harm to that card, but it didn't matter. All right, so I could read his entry, but I read it before in a previous day. And let's focus on the now. So in order to identify this, I need to use the ability on the Philosopher's Garden, the test Awareness plus Reason, to identify the true nature of the manifestation before you flip this card face up. Otherwise, it is an obstacle. I wonder if I need to clear CeeLo while I'm here, because when I read his entry, this is kind of weird metagamey stuff, but the entry didn't give me an indication of what I need to do. And again, there are no cards specific to the Philosopher's Garden. And when I read his entry, there was a thing that said, like, if you are at the Philosopher's Garden, read this other entry instead. And I am now there, so I could read that by clearing him here. I think that's what I want to do because I don't want to be lingering around. So let's just see what happens when I clear him. Let's spend 3 spirit for that. I need 3, but I can make up the difference with the Scepter of Harmony. So let's do 3. Got a 0, so it's going to add 3 progress, and it will clear him. Read 64 again. When you clear him, if you're at the Philosopher's Garden, 64.3. As the sun trails across the sky, the petals of the strange tree before you molt to midnight purple. Smoke from the bee smoker stings your nose, and in the haze you see Cielo gently place the hive back on its branch and wave you over. As you approach, he's already dipping a trembling finger into the honey, eyes wide with anticipation. One taste, and his body relaxes. His eyes dazzle with 1,000 distant stars, and a big smile creeps up to his lips. In a calm, deep voice, he says, "Now if that isn't heaven on earth, I don't know what is. Give it a taste." He passes you the jar. "Unlike anything ever touched these lips, am I right? I think I'll call it the Philosopher's Honey. Now, I have to harvest more while the little buzzers are still sleeping. Head on off now, but don't tell anyone. This will be the biggest thing since the ancestors left the arcologies. You wait and see." Gain the Philosopher's Honey reward card. Discard Cielo and return Helping Hand to the collection. Write "Discovered the Philosopher's Honey" on the campaign tracker. Discovered the Philosopher's Honey. Not enough room for that in my handwriting. All right, I got Philosopher's Honey. 2 spirit. It's got connection, exploration, and conflict icons. Search with 3 dollops of honey. You can exhaust and use a dollop to choose a ranger. That ranger soothes fatigue equal to the number of focus in their energy pool. So compares quite interestingly to my static sifter, which costs the exact same amount, but it starts with 0 victuals, and I have to earn them by harming flora, which doesn't always come up. But when I do, for each flora I harm, I get to soothe 2 fatigue. Because my focus is only 1, I'm only ever going to be able to get 1 soothing from the honey. And I can do that 3 times because there's 3 dollops, and it's not gated by flora being nearby or harmable. That's an interesting comparison. And certainly the icons on the honey is much better because static sifter is just a single reason. So I don't know. I can't use it right now. I have to save it in my reward cards section, and I can add it to my deck if and when I camp out. So that'll be a decision for later. To resolve the mountain, add a vine to a flora. None. Oh, he should be cleared now. Mission is gone. And then this one, he says if this being has 1 or more harm, remove 1, but he doesn't. All right. So that means nothing happened and I get a song. And I guess I'm done in the Philosopher's Garden. I just need to go back now. But this is an obstacle, unfortunately. So I do need to see what it is. So let's use the awareness test, 2 awareness to try to identify it. Let's make it 3 with a reason icon. Well, I just need a 1. So -1 is fine. It's just a -2 would mess me up. I got a 0. So 2 will do it. We flip it over. It is a rotting dolewood, which we saw before. It is a flora. So I'm going to get a vine from our mission. I need to resolve the sun, though. Just to move a vine from a flora to another. There aren't any. And that's actually it because it's not currently raining. So this is an obstacle. I will have to clear it to leave, but actually that will be nice because I'll make some progress on my Trail of Vines mission. When I clear it, I discard all flora in play, and rangers suffer fatigue, but there's no other flora, so that's not going to happen. I just need to clear through this. Unfortunately, I spent my spirit, so I can't do it with the carbon forged trowel. So how do I want to deal with this? I could wait till next round. I do have 3 cards left, so really I just need to finish, travel back to branch, and at the very least, and probably just call that a camp out. And at least I will have made progress by 1 location for the whole day, but got a reward card and a new tag along the way. And if it's not cleared at the end of the round, it's going to flip over and I'll have to identify it again. So I do want to clear it for sure, even if I can't travel. I think I'm going to do this. Hopefully this is okay. I'm going to spend 1 fitness to play it. And it's going to add 1 harm to a flora, which is this one, to add 3 progress to a trail, which is the Philosopher's Garden itself. So it doesn't clear anything, but I helped with both. And because I added harm to a flora, I get to add a victual to the static sifter, which I will then use to soothe 2 fatigue. Just 1 fatigue left. And I picked up Throng of Life, which is nice to have. So let's do a traverse test on the rotting dolewood itself. So it can traverse a location or a feature. Committing 1. I need 2 more. Well, I need 4 because this is adding progress, not harm. So I need 4. Can I do 4? I can do 3. I've got 2 exploration icons left. Uh-oh. That means I need a +1. Well, that's the best I can do at this point. So let's see. The Throng of Life could help, though. All right, so I'm checking fitness in red. Got a 0. However, there is a +1 on this card in awareness, and I have the Throng of Life. So it's a manifestation. I'm going to spend 1 focus energy to play it, along with 1 of my songs from my conduit, and I'm going to choose a different modifier than the one needed. So instead of using the red 0, I'm going to use the green +1 to make this a 4 to make sure I get to clear it. Throng of Life says I will then have to resolve an additional challenge icon, but often that is actually helping me. So let's do that. So the Dolewood is cleared, which adds a second vine here, which means I get to read this. Read the entry corresponding to your progress on Trail of Vines. You find the Verdesian in a clearing, again standing beside a docile reclaimer with a small white flowers growing out of its back. You watch as the reclaimer slinks away, and the Verdesian slowly turns to face you when suddenly it seems to melt into the earth. You rush into the clearing, but the Verdesian is gone. You do, however, find several dart-like thorns in the grass. They drip with some sort of goo that, when you take a whiff, causes your senses to reel. You suspect it's a powerful soporific, and maybe how the Verdesian captures the reclaimers. But what is it doing with them? You'll have to pick up its trail again to learn more. And yeah, I should have 2 bubbles checked off now. I have to resolve the Blue Mountain and 1 other one, but none of them would do anything, so I'll just take 2 songs up to 6. And then I can exhaust this to get a manifestation back to my hand to take the Throng of Life. Got no energy, nothing left to do, so I'll end the round. Ready, energize, and draw. This gets 2 more rain on the storm, which not only flips to becoming a downpour, but exhausts my roll card. And I draw a new path card, which is some hanging cherry moss. It's going to be another flora, making it tempting. I wonder if I can finish this Trail of Vines all in one day. Yeah, these 2 should be gone. Just need 2 more. I mean, I can play Green Thumb to go find another one, but how am I going to clear all of them? I have 2 cards left, and with the downpour, I really am risking not being able to, or basically just being forced to end of the day instead of choosing to end the day. So I think I just need to focus on traversing. I can do this Trail of Vines later, do it tomorrow. I think I could clear 2 hanging cherry mosses pretty reliably, but then I would not be able to finish traversing the garden. But there is a chance I could get 2 vines out of this 1 hanging cherry moss with the Trail of Vines Blue Mountain. Add a vine token to a flora. So if I just leave this here for a second, do a test or 2, as long as I don't put myself at risk of fatiguing out from the downpour, I might be able to hit a blue and add a second flora and then clear it. So let's try that. I have shaped the earth. I could use that. This is a feature, so I can get 2 progress. Put 1 here is all I need. So that'd be guaranteed. But I want to do tests. I want to try to hit a blue. So I only need 1. The presence is 1. So the traverse test to succeed, I only need a 1. So I could commit 1 energy. I did get an exploration icon to my hand, so I could go in with 2 here. I don't know why I'm saving my fitness though. Maybe I just go in with 3. We're ending it. Let's blow it out. So 3 can survive a -2, but it's a 0. So that is going to successfully add 3 more progress. We're at 6. I only need 4. So that's good. What's bad is that I did hit a sun, so the downpour is going to fatigue me. And now, oh, this would have been a good reason to save a fitness, because I can climb and add 1 harm to this feature with its own test. And then I can split up. Well, I can split up anyway. Okay, let's do a Carbon Forged Trowel tinned test with Spirit. Spirit plus Reason. I have no reason. The test needs a 1 and does not have a fail case. So I'm going to commit 1. So I'm going to do more tests until my deck is empty. So I'm going to commit 1. If my deck is empty, if I just hit sun after sun, I'm in trouble. But let's try to hit a mountain. I'm going to tend for 1. Spirit, I got a +1. That's 2, which is actually not what I wanted, because it's going to add 2 harm to it and it's going to clear it. So, oh well, I get 1 vine. This is cleared. Oh, and that's another reason I would want fitness. Oh no, I'd finished that already. All right, so that's cleared. I get to add a Vittle to this. I'll spend it to soothe 2. And to resolve the crest, suffer fatigue for each vine within reach if there's an active predator, but there's not, because this version of Quiet, she's not a predator. Very good. And we got a reshuffle. So now I could play Green Thumb and search for another flora. I already have all the progress I need here, but Green Thumb increases the harm threshold by 2 of the flora I search up. So if I get a hanging cherry moss, I'm going to need to clear it with 4 harm. And with 2 spirit and no reason icons, I would not be able to hit 4. Well, I just soothed 2. Did I draw any reason icons? No. Well, 1. I got 1. And I could get a +1, and Throng of Life would increases the chances I'd get a +1. So you know what? It is possible. I'm going to play Green Thumb. Going to pay 1 awareness to search the path deck and discard for a flora, put into play with this attached. We'll get the hanging cherry moss attached the Green Thumb. That increases its harm threshold by 2. It's going to have a vine from the mission, and then I'm going to use this test, commit 2 spirit and 1 reason icon for 3. I need a +1 in order to add 4 harm to it. I got a -1, but it does have a +1 on it, so I'm going to play Throng of Life, spending a song to change and choose instead the +1, making that 4. 4 harm will clear it. I'll get a second vine, and we get to read 111 again, this time with getting our 3rd bubble check. The trail leads you to the top of a butte, and when you peer around a fallen tree, you find the Verdessian standing next to another reclaimer which has a small white flowers growing out of its spine. As you watch, the Verdessian gestures, and the reclaimer slithers away, seemingly at the Verdessian's command. You notice that the ground beneath the Verdessian's feet is solid rock. It may not be able to escape into the ground here as it did before. Complete the Trail of Vines mission. Each ranger soothes to fatigue. Well, I'm out of fatigue. You emerge from behind a fallen tree. As before, the Verdessian spots you and tries to melt into the ground, but the rocks at its feet prove impenetrable, and instead of vanishing, the Verdessian collapses into a tangled ball of roots, vines, and leaves. You realize that this is your chance. You dash forward and carefully scoop the ball into one of your heavy haversacks. The Verdessian squirms inside the sack as the vine pokes out of the top. You sit, panting for a moment, trying to decide what to do. After some thought, you decide that if anyone is going to be able to communicate with the Verdessian, it's Spirit Speaker Nal. Almost instantly, you feel Nal's presence, like she's been with you this entire time. Then images come into your mind as if emerging from a dark pool, a towering waterfall, a sheer cliff, and a vast jungle. You recognize it as the view from Tumbledown. Nal wants you to bring the Verdessian to Tumbledown. Somehow, you know that she'll meet you there. Gain the Deeper Motives mission. Record 94.10 5 days from now on the campaign tracker. Uh-oh, I got another timer. 5 days from 7 is going to be 1294.10. Completed Trail of Vines. But again, Deeper Motives. And where is this mission going to fit in the grand scheme of me needing to put up the sensor network? Tumbledown is here at the bottom, all the way south. Well, it seems like my... it's only 2 days later. I don't know if Sensor Network has a timer on it. There's like a tangentially related timer that I needed to get to Spire within a certain number of days, but I did get to Spire already, and then I got the Sensor Network mission. So I don't know what that timer is for. Right now, I am here in the garden. I want to get back to Branch, so I was going to go to High Basin, and then where else? I needed to get to Mound of the Navigator. So I could go around here to Mound of Navigator. It looks like I have to go through some kind of swamp then to get down to Tumbledown. That is a long way. Or I can go, instead of going through the swamp, I could go Mound of the Navigator, Stoneweaver Bridge, Meadow, Rings of the Moon, Alluvial Ruins, Tumbledown. That's a lot either way. All right, so new mission, Deeper Motives. Help Nal commune with the Verdessian. Go to Tumbledown. That's interesting because I could talk to Spirit Speaker Nal, but she doesn't want to meet me anywhere. She wants to meet me at Tumbledown specifically, so I don't think finding her is going to help me unless I'm there. So I still have to resolve my mountain plus another icon. This one says if Nal and the mysterious Verdessian are in play and ready. That's not relevant. The crests don't do anything. So I'm going to take mountain and crest so I can avoid the sun, which will actually give me 2 more songs. I'm up to 7. But now I just need to travel. Got 1 awareness energy left, but I'm not going to spend it. Let's go ahead and travel, which means I am going to go back from the gardens to Branch. And I wonder if I went to Spire, if that would increase my speed at which I could get down. I mean, it really would. If I go back from here, the garden, to go to Spire, then I could go Knoll, Meadow, Rings of the Moon, Alluvial Ruins, Tumbledown. Whereas once I start going this direction, I'm in this bit more of a mess, but I still want to get my things down on the way. So hopefully I can do it within 5 days, but yeah, I'm going to go back to Branch. So that's going to end my day. I'm going to travel to Branch, but I'm going to camp along the way, which means I can upgrade my deck if I want. I can add the Philosopher's Honey. I don't know if I want to yet. I'll have to think about that, but thanks for watching. Thanks for your patience with my missing hour. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.